So I was thinking about the core mechanic the other day for the game I'm developing. You're probably wondering, what is a core mechanic? Every game should have four main layers: the core mechanic, secondary mechanic, progression, and narrative. The core mechanic is the interaction that occurs most frequently during the game. Our core mechanic is exploration and fighting. Our second mechanic is to work on completing missions. The progression is upgrading your character by completing missions, thereby unlocking skills in order to assist you in gathering relics you seek to save your planet. That's the narrative part. Now that we got this figured out, let me show you a few games I've looked to for inspiration. This is Legacy of the Ancients, published by EA circa 1987. The game has both a top-level world and a dungeon world. You can visit towns, buy equipment, do some gambling, explore the countryside. Geez, you can do just about anything actually, it's pretty cool. Now in the underworld you fight various types of monsters. You gather treasure and of course the quest items that you seek. So like I said, there's both a top world and a dungeon world. From this game I'll be borrowing the idea that there are two main worlds, one above ground and one below ground that you can explore. Now the next game I've gotten inspiration from is Heart of Africa, published again by EA circa 1985. In this game the player is an adventurer searching for the lost tomb of the pharaoh in Africa during the late 19th century. Now one of the unique features of this game is that you had to visit tribal leaders, give them what they requested, and sometimes they might offer you a clue as to the whereabouts of the treasure you seek. Of course, the clues are written in riddle form, making the location of the treasure quite difficult to pinpoint, and the world map is massive. Every time you started a new game, the treasure location was never in the same place, so this made it really difficult. I actually won the game one time, but it took hundreds of times playing. From Heart of Africa, we'll be borrowing the mechanic that by speaking with tribal elders and bringing them what they seek, the elders will reveal on our world map the entrance to abandoned dungeons and caves. These underground places will contain the items the player seeks to complete quests. And finally, the greatest computer dungeon adventure game of all time, Dungeon Master, FTL Games, circa 1988. In Dungeon Master you play 4 characters in a group with a first-person viewport. The plot of the game is to traverse 14 levels down into the dungeon, locate the fire staff, and use it to defeat Lord Chaos. Now, what I like about this game is the game's mechanics are impressive. It's hard to even describe the situations you'll find yourself in. I mean, you can locate secret areas, find secret passages, walk through walls that aren't there. You can teleport, you can throw objects on pressure plates to open doors. Of course, you can battle monsters using various weapons you find, learn magic spells, and you have to do all this while feeding your character and keeping a torch lit so you're not walking in the darkness. Now keep in mind, this is 1988, and nobody has seen a game like this before. I mean, I think this game is better than most new dungeon adventure games today. Sure, the graphics are 8-bit, but if you look at the gameplay, the action, puzzles, the difficulty, and the complexity is just absolutely amazing. If you haven't played this game and you like roguelike games, check this out. So, from Dungeon Master, I'll be implementing a linkage system so that I can create switches that activate targets. For example, if the player steps on a pressure plate on the floor, this triggers the door to close behind him and creates several monsters in a room for the player to fight. The linkage system can connect any switch to multiple targets. This system opens up all sorts of possibilities. The player can use switches to open and close doors, affect teleporters, trigger events, create monsters, all sorts of crazy stuff, just like in Dungeon Master. Now, I'll understand if you fear playing Dungeon Master. This is a man's game. It's not like today's glitch-filled, microtransaction, loot box-based games. And I mean no disrespect to the terrible products that Ubisoft makes. So, to summarize what our game's going to be about, number 1, we'll have both an above-ground and below-ground world to explore. Number 2, the player will need to locate rare and special objects to trade with tribal leaders in hopes of getting information on the whereabouts of hidden dungeons. And number 3, when the player locates a hidden dungeon, he or she must battle the enemies of evil, avoid traps, gather loot, solve puzzles, and return the quest items needed to complete a mission, thereby upgrading their character stats and abilities. Hey, that actually sounds pretty fun. I can't wait to play this game. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Brody out.